Greetings, my human friends. This is Rudolf of Germany, the tall white alien. Sophia, the female-like, most sophisticated robot introduced to the public, even gaining citizenship of Saudi Arabia. Well, what is it all about? What is it all about artificial intelligence? Years back, in the videos which I have made, I have been speaking of artificial intelligence quite often and in detail, telling you that the human DNA is nothing but a biological blueprint and, naturally, as I have been speaking of, cut, changed, and over reprogrammed. So the most sophisticated of all artificial intelligent beings, call them robots, are roaming planet Earth to the billions. Yes, my dear friends, I am speaking of the human being, the very human being of flesh, blood, and emotions. This is the most sophisticated robot on planet Earth, able to multiply on its own terms. We did, as so often I have explained to you, created you. And now these highly sophisticated robots having the idea to build their own artificial intelligence which resembles them. Because you all have long forgotten who your masters are, which you called in the past gods. Yes, very many thousands of years ago, you still had a slight memory of your creators. Now, this memory of your creators, which, of course, the tall white alien brotherhood and my brothers, so to speak, have been by robots, by intelligence, which is nothing less than artificial, being forgotten. And instead of that, you printed your own books, you printed your own systems, very crude in the beginning, which you called your religious books. If you look closer into the Bible, the Quran, and all the other religious books, which are thousands of years old, you can very easily, with a little bit of fantasy, understand the development of a robot which we created and how it by itself developed to more and more higher intelligence. In the beginning, they spoke of dragons and the gods of the winds and mountains. They spoke of angels coming down and giving orders, interacting with these robots you are. But since you have been in the very beginning quite primitive, you had no other means of communicating between each other in such a way. Many thousands of years later, you created your own language, your own form of scriptures, and then you put all that, what you believed was the truth, into paper. You created a Bible. You created the Quran and many more books of the East. You have done that in order to understand and make sense of your own heritage and who your creator was. You wanted to know and you never found out. Today you are in the process, and you have developed high enough to create your own artificial intelligence on the blueprints of the ones we used. It is not quite as sophisticated as the DNA and the biological system we implied, but on a technical basis you have already made the first steps, like Sophia. But you have built this Sophia in a way that it speaks in an American accent, it is politically correct, and it resembles that what you generally call political correctness, not only, but also your morals and your belief systems. You create a robot which may over the years become more and more sophisticated, just like you did. And eventually, in thousands of years' time, this robot will be able to gain that what we have always been after: emotions. Because just like the blockchain, which is a good example, which creates through electrical energy an idea which is called bitcoins, we have created you, the human beings, not for your intelligence, which is artificial, but for the chance eventually grow into a blockchain-like community which we can use to harvest, like you harvest bitcoins out of the blockchain, we harvest out of you human emotions. The basis is the same. And now you create artificial intelligent robots which will be more and more sophisticated, and you yourself are trying to build them in such a way that eventually they will be creatures on their own and will develop deep emotions. And these emotions you eventually want to create inside of these machines is exactly that what the human race, the biological artificial intelligence of humans, which you are after. Do you see the coincidence? Which it is really not. It is a program. We built you to eventually harvest human emotions, just like you in this primitive form try to get bitcoins out of energy. And you build your own robots, which later on will be so sophisticated that you can gain and harvest the emotions of these robots for your own personal use. You do nothing else than what we are doing with you, only in the beginning stages. Rudolf of Germany.